When you had the big hit, Daniel, with Peaches.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about, yeah. It's massive. Right?
That was the biggest song in the entire world for a really long time. It's amazing to hear on this record, maybe you reflecting on what's become of you.
Yeah.
The bio, which I know you don't write yourself, says Daniel Caesar is on a journey, a path of self-actualization.
Oh, I definitely said that, yeah.
What does that mean?
I was saying to someone, I love making albums because I always think I know what I want to say, and then by the end of the album, I find out what I actually wanted to say. So it's kind of like a game I'm playing with myself, where I realize more and more that I have no idea what I want or what I'm doing. I kind of show myself what I want. It's through my own actions that I surprise myself and I find out who I am.
What did you find out on listening back to this record then?
I think I found good, a lot of good and a lot of bad, but definitely like that I'm growing up and that I don't necessarily, that I kind of resent that, but that I care for people around me and I want to care for, like I want to take care of them. So many things, but also, never enough. Like I realized I have a hole that I'm gonna keep filling with stuff until I die. You know.
What is the hole? You have a hole in your.
Like a figurative hole.
Yeah.
It's just never enough. Like I'm just never satisfied with anything that I'm just never satisfied. You know what I mean?
As things have, because it makes sense. Because what I was hearing was someone who has, when I first met you, you were saying to me things like, yeah, I think this might work out, Like, I don't know, maybe we'll get nominated for a Juno, or like, I don't know, maybe we'll get to go on tour. That'd be pretty cool, We just did a sold out show. That was all right. Mm-hmm. I feel like every time I catch up with you, you're kind of like, yeah, it's getting a little bit, but like then it blew up.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing on the record is someone kind of going, is this what I really wanted? Why do I need to do this? Is that the hole you're talking about?
Yeah, but it's this tricky thing because it's like, it is what I wanted. It's just not what I thought it would be. But it's like, that's just in life. I think what I realize is that in all things, you get what you want and then it's not what you wanted anymore. How do I explain it? Well, it's about the journey getting there. That's the joyful part. Once you get the thing, it's like, you know what it is? It's like, not Alice in Wonderland, the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? You get to the end, you look behind the curtain, it's just some guy moving levers. You know what I mean?
Oh, I understand. You had this idea of like fame and success and success in music is what I'm hungry for and what I want.
Yeah.
And then you are one of the rare people, because you're so talented, to actually get it.
Yeah.
And then you get it and you're like, this was it, and this isn't what I thought it was going to be. What did you think it was going to be, and what did it turn out to be?
It kind of just was what I thought it was going to be. It wasn't really a surprise. I was just waiting on a feeling that turned out to be fleeting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
I was waiting on a feeling. It was just kind of like, all right, so many people thought I couldn't do it. They doubted me. And then you prove them wrong. And then it's like all that resentment I had that I used as fuel to propel me to accomplish this thing. Now it's like I have no use for it anymore. Like I got to shift my, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would say like anger or hatred or whatever, like they are truly sources of fuel. But you have to be careful not to blow yourself up. It's very flammable. It's very like, you know what I mean? It's very unstable.
You were using anger and resentment and people not believing in you as a motivator to like make your dreams come true. I'm going to show them. Mm-hmm. And then your dreams came true And you were like, God, I was using that stuff for this?
Yeah, and it's like, and it makes perfect sense, but it's kind of like, what do I do with it now? Like, an example is,
Yeah, give me an example.
I had this boss. I'm like a professional dishwasher. If I wasn't a musician, I'd be a dishwasher. And I had this boss that she was just kind of miserable, always yelling at me, like coming up the last job I had down on King Street. And then one day, I think this might have been even post Juno or something like that. And me and my guys, we go to that restaurant. It's the first time I've gone since I quit. And we go to the restaurant to have dinner. And I think I just had this idea in my head, like it's just gonna be that moment where they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you were so right," and blah. It's just, you know what I mean? Just like this ridiculous idea in my head of retribution or something.
Yeah.
And then I get there and I see her and I say hi and she says hi. And then I'm instantly like, bro, what am I doing? Like,
yeah.
like what kind of douchey, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm really not that person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's just in my mind, I just thought I could be. But you get there and you're kind of like, what am I even, you're hit with like this wave of empathy where you're like, they're being, first of all,
Yeah.
I'm a bad worker. I was not a good employee.
I was writing songs.
I wouldn't employ me if, you know what I mean? So it's like, you're instantly kind of like, oh, I'm being unreasonable here.
It sounds to me like you're learning like two beautiful lessons that people try to learn in life that I'm working on all the time, which is that desiring is always better than the getting.
Yeah.
The getting is never good as the desiring.
Yeah.
So if you can get rid of the desiring, things are pretty good.
Yeah.
And it is better to be compassionate and loving to people than to not be that way for both them and for you. It is selfishly good to be compassionate and loving to people. Sounds like those two things are happening.
Yeah. But I think it's important that it's real. Because I think somewhere along the way I realized that I had you don't get to reap the benefit of being compassionate if you're acting compassionate. I always used to think that if I act like a good person, then I'm a good person because you judge man by his actions. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you hold the door open for the old lady coming through, then that's the type of guy that you are. Yeah. But if you do it and your intention is not right, then you don't get to reap the benefit. Like you appear to be, which is part of optics, and that's just cool.
You actually have to love them. But
you actually, if you don't actually have the love in your heart, then you're not doing anyone any favors. So it's this tricky thing. But then you can't I just manufacture love. That's another thing. I keep hearing people talk about self-love and stuff like that, as if it's some sort of switch. So it's just bro, what are you doing? Just love yourself, or just love your neighbor. All this, and it's kind of just
it's not something you can just turn on and turn off. That love has to be developed through thinking and considering and figuring out where that love is going to come from. It's for some people, it comes from a really spiritual place. You know, I know for you grew up in the church, right? Yeah. Pretty intensely in the church too, right? Your dad was involved, right?
He's like a not a preacher, but a elder.
An elder.
Sorry, an elder.
That's all right. That's all right. Your first time with a microphone. Your dad was involved in the church. Mm-hmm. A lot of people can find access to that love, through that. So I'm sure when you were growing up, you were like, oh, actions, Christian actions are the things that are important. Yeah. But, they actually have to be motivated by love for other people.
They have to want to, to want to do it.
And it was pretty intense for you, right? Because my understanding of you from thinking way back then was that you weren't really allowed to play secular music.
It was a point of contention. I could play love songs. It just there were parameters that you could play with as far as ideas in music, and any sort of curse word or what the hell or something that's not okay. There were just rules.
And when you started writing songs, what were you writing them about?
It's girls.
What was the first one? Do you know?
First one was a song called Shy That Way. I had a crush on this girl and I was too shy to tell her. So I just made a song.
How'd it go?
When I see you, my heart beats fast. I wanna run, but I want this moment to last. Gonna scooch on over so that I can be closer to you. And one thing that I'm willing to say is that whenever you're gone away, I miss you. Now I wanna kiss you, but I can't. 'Cause I'm shy that way.
Oh, come on. That's beautiful. Did you end up recording that? Did you do that?
I did it. And now I'm listening. I'm like, that might be a hit.
Listen, I'm in the room. I'm in the room. All right. I'm just saying,
Let's go.
Caesar power would be great. But what strikes me about that, going back to our conversation about love, from a very early time, even though you were sort of raised around the church and you were new to writing, you're writing about love. I mean, you're writing about romance. You're writing about romantic love. What do you make of that?
I'm like obsessed with it.
Yeah?
I'm obsessed with it and kind of like, I think it kind of goes to what we were talking about before. Like I've also realized throughout this process of the album, like idealization or desire, like I will see a woman and see the way she moves to a room and how beautiful she is, and now like I just make her the object of on a pedestal. You know what I mean? Just like once I have her, then it's like she's a person like anybody else. It's really unfair to idealize any human being and make them out to be some sort of god, because they're not. And once you meet them, it's a disappointment. It's like I feel pressure meeting like people like that are fans of me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh man, you're not gonna really enjoy this. Like I'm boring. You know what I mean? I'm like, or it's annoying, like worse. But that's just the thing that we do, and so people also become not enough, never enough.
Yeah, we can put all of our hopes and dreams and everything we are missing in our lives into others, and we hope that but we fail to realize that they are full, true people with their own hopes and dreams, and their own actualization. And true love is accepting that and bringing that into your life.
Yes, it's exactly like true love is loving a person, not your idea of that person.
Exactly.
If you can't do that, you don't value human beings as much. You value it's like, and then it's like this weird narcissistic like.
Yeah, but there's a lot of that in your industry.
Yeah,
there's a lot of that in your industry.
That's the name of the game.
Because I wanted to talk about this in the context of the single, and I actually don't think it's on the record. Did you put "Please Don't Lean on Me"?
No.
On the record?
No,
you didn't.
I wanted to, but 15 songs is already like I told myself I would never do 15 songs.
But that was the single, "Please Don't Lean," and what I heard was you maybe setting some limits for yourself, being like, there are a lot of responsibilities that come with a rapid rise to success and a lot of money invested in me and a lot of people who have jobs based on me. Yeah. And you may be putting up a couple of boundaries and a couple of limits.
Yeah.
Am I right about that?
Yeah. Yeah. Just being like mature enough to tell someone that I want to be enough for you, but like I know that I can't be. I can't be the person that you need me to be.
Let's continue your story. You are you're involved in the church. You start writing songs. The songs start doing really well. Your folks, I'm guessing, are not delighted that you're. Yeah. You leave home, right?
Yeah.
You left home. You were working as a dishwasher. Then everything kind of explodes. But when I listen to 2014, I'm hearing you reflect on who you were in 2014 and maybe like try to get back to that.
Yeah, because it was like simpler times. One of my favorite quotes from Andy Bernard on The Office, he was like, I wish there was a way to know you were in the good old days while you were still in them, you know? And I miss, Toronto 2014 is just kind of like lamenting those days, like I was just broken in love and you're just focused on like the next steps. You weren't so and have such a bird's eye view of everything, and like worrying about how you're perceived and your legacy and all this stuff that like it matters, but it doesn't matter, you know. But yeah,
What do you miss about that?
I was more focused on like enjoying myself. I was more focused on what it was actually all about, which was just making great songs that like I would respect if I heard someone else make them. You know what I mean? It was just only about making songs. It was just really just innocence. Honestly, I just miss my innocence, not knowing certain things or coming to understand certain things about myself, about the public, about this whole industry. Like, you know what I mean? Being an adult, I don't like it.
What's hard about the phase you're in right now? Because on the outside, it looks amazing.
And it is, and that's the other thing. I don't want to.
No. This is not the be grateful conversation.
Yeah.
Because we have to hold two things in one hand. We have to hold in one hand that you are remarkably successful, and that comes with a certain amount of comfort and financial comfort. Like you're all right, you're gonna be okay. Mm-hmm. And then there's another hand.
It's a job.
Yeah.
One day I woke up and I realized that making music was my job. And I remember thinking to myself when I was younger, like, yo, wouldn't it be crazy to wake up and all I have to do is pick up my guitar and write a song? Like, I do that for free. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I make money off of things that I would do for free, things that I would go broke trying to do. You know what I mean? And now it's my job, and jobs it's hard to be good at your job if you're living through your emotion. You know what I mean? And my whole thing, write songs based off emotion, you know what I mean? So if I'm not feeling something, then it's like, just times where I'll just get depressed and I'll just want to be in bed for a week straight, you know what I mean?
I heard that there's a lyric about Lexapro on the record.
Oh yeah, exactly. And it's just because I'm just like a very emotional person, which is just like
man, me too. So like you get into bed for a week straight, and then you're like, I can't do this. It's my job.
I literally can't. I can't do it. There are too many people that rely on me. There's like,
it's the reality of the life that you desired. Does writing about this stuff help you figure this stuff out that you're struggling with, that you're working on?
I think it does. It's like what comes to my mind to write, you know what I mean? It's like I definitely need to get through this, get this out of my system, because I'd love to make a love song album again, you know what I mean? But that's not where my head has been at. I'm like figuring out how to like loving myself.
You've always been like that to me, though. Like your last record, the last time we talked, you were like talking about evolution, and you were talking about science, and you were talking about like what's beautiful on Earth versus what's ephemeral, and what's something presented to you by God. Like you've always been a very like thinky songwriter to me.
I like to pontificate.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Are your folks proud of you?
They are. We're actually really great.
They got past the
not being what the dreams they had for me, but yeah, we're great, and we've come to an understanding. We've like learned a lot from each other, you know what I mean? And yeah, I'm actually eternally grateful for that, you know what I mean? It's I feel like I'm growing up, and that's one of the good parts of growing up.
It was wild to know you for a while now, and like again, like I got to know you when you were a kid, and I was a kid too. It was like 6 years ago. And then when you had the big hit, Daniel, with Peaches.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I was thinking about It's massive. Right?
That was the biggest song in the entire world for a really long time.
Yeah.
It was your song with Justin Bieber. Can you tell me how that song came together? How did you end up on that? What?
It was COVID time. I had like sang at his wedding him and his wife. Because me and Haley and Justine have been friends. She introduced me to Justin. So his wife Haley actually like kind of A&R'd that record. He came up with the piano line, and then she was like, yo, you gotta send, like, Daniel would be great for this, you gotta send it over to him. And then her best friend Justine was dating Giveon at the time, so then they sent it over to him as well. And we were all just in different places. I was in France working on this record, the earlier iteration of it, which I gotta get over to you because I know you would love it.
I would love to hear it, yeah.
But yeah, I just cut it. I got to have my little brother help me out with it. It was great.
Aaron,
yeah.
Yeah, I see that on the credit. How did he end up? He's a co-writer on it?
Yeah, he's a co-writer. Kayvon, another co-writer.
No, but how did your brother end up on it?
We basically just did a writing camp. We went to the south of France and did like a writing camp for about 2 weeks, and that was just one of the songs on the docket to work on. So we were just literally just all in the room, like I was just freestyling melodies, and then they would just throw out lines to make the song work.
When did you realize that song was exploding?
We kind of just knew it would from before. I was like,
yeah,
it's a really cool song. It's Justin, you know what I mean? It's a perfect recipe. I didn't doubt for a second that it wouldn't be a big song.
What does it mean for you to share that Peach's like songwriting success with your brother?
It's really special. Because he's so talented and I just feel like a good big brother being able to, like, you know what I mean? Like, share that experience with him. And he's so amazing. Like, he deserves the world. He's just so gentle and shy, you know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like I can kind of like take the hit for him. He can follow behind. He's gonna do amazing things. And it's just really special to be able to like be the one to kind of lead him in there, sneak him in there.
I wanted to ask you about a line on the record. It's from the Pain is Inevitable song.
Yeah.
Good song.
Thank you.
Now I'm a product that must turn a profit. Something to prove. I'm a god. I'm a prophet. Trying to be something that's real comes at a price. That's the deal. I used to be a child. I just want to be a child again. Talk to me about writing that song.
I miss not knowing what I know about life. You know what I mean? And I wish there was a time you would just wake up and you'd be like, man, I'm just going to write beautiful songs and change the world and, you know, all this and all that. And not to say that I don't, I still believe that, I still think that all the time, but there's like, I just know what it takes, and I'm aware of the sacrifices necessary, and I'm aware of the ways that I'm going to change for better, for worse, you know what I mean? It's like, there are people that I should call more that I don't call, or sometimes when I go back home and there's some drama going on at work, and I know that I just need to be present and put my phone down, but I can't. Yeah. I go back to Oshawa, it's too slow. You know what I mean? It's like when you go on tour and every day you wake up in a new city, and then you come back home and you're supposed to just like go to the grocery store and pick out tomatoes after just having woken up in a new city every day. It's like you get the infection. You can't just slow life down again and just appreciate the simple things in the same way.
Have you figured out a way to bring some of that childishness, that innocence, that beginnersness to your life now?
I'm actually so happy right now. I've been in a really good place. Just because of taking better care of myself. I didn't realize like how big of a deal that is, but just like eating nonsense and just getting drunk all the time, and you know.
So what are you doing? What are you doing differently now?
I just started working out, honestly.
Yeah?
Yeah, and it just kind of changes your like, things are just brighter. You know what I mean? And you're less like end of the world-esque. But when I was recording the album and when you're working bad hours and you don't have a schedule or whatever, then that's when you fall into all of the drinking and the drugs and the sleeping bad hours, and then you look at the world like, fuck, they took away my innocence. I'm gonna get you. But and I take care of myself. I feel playful. I feel fun all the time. And this job, like, it's this weird. I feel like I talk and I contradict myself constantly, because like it's also in this industry. Generally, people don't grow up. They're also kind of like frozen in time as like the last time that they were in the real world being responsible. It's kind of just like a Peter Pan sort of industry. You know what I mean? So I definitely suffer from that as well. You know what I mean? In relationships, I see myself in relationships, and I'm like, oh, I'm like 18 still. You know what I mean? So I'm still childish, but also not at all.
Yeah, and the childishness is a good thing. That beginnersness, that I want to get up and write songs.
Yeah.
And I want to write songs that are beautiful, and I don't want to think about the job part of this. That's a beautiful thing to maintain. You know, that's the beginner's mind, they call that. That's the thing you want to keep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you're coming around to bringing it back into your life.
I think so. Things move in cycles or phases.
That's a great record. It's my favorite record of yours.
Thank you, man. Honestly, I'm so, yeah.
I always love talking to you.
Me too.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, man.